welcome everybody to the first episode of the Gravel Paddock podcast, where we talk about pro gravel racing, no filter, no fluff, just the race from the inside. I'm Antonin, your host, and today we are looking to talk about the brutal reality of the European season opener from Pescanonina to Castellón UCI races, passing through Santa Vall Mudfest. What does it take to survive as a neo-pro privateer in 2026? Gustave Orain is here to tell us. So, hello Gustave, how are you?
Hi everyone. Yeah, very good, very good. Just back from Castellón. I'm living in Girona, so now it's sunny, perfect weather, and yeah, it's been first 3 weeks of racing pretty crazy. I always say to people like every year gravel is different, and you rediscover the field every year. And yeah, we're here to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll go deep into the block of the 3 races you just did in Spain. But before, can you briefly introduce yourself, who you are, where you are coming from, what's your specialty on the bike?
Yeah, I'm Gustave Orain in French. I'm 24 years old. I come from Paris originally, and I've been cycling now since 2021. Have rowing background, and yeah, I did two full season in road in a Spanish team called Arabai, and now I'm doing gravel for 3 years now, and that's my first year as a privateer.
You just moved from the U23 ranks to the Elite Pro Man category. And quickly, what is the biggest shock in terms of speed, distance, maybe the peloton, the dynamic? What do you think is really different?
So, for my point of view, when I was racing in road, we had different classification in under 23. But when I arrived in gravel, it was still a pretty small scene. So we never had a legit under 23 classification. So I know that this year everything started being under 23 classification. We can see Unbound, there is a under 23 Unbound. So now I'm a bit like, "Wow, I wish I will be like 5 years old younger and I will be in under 22." Because, yeah, like the past few years, I was always checking, like, oh, okay, in under 23, I'm first. But it means nothing for people in gravel, I feel. So, yeah, this year it's my first year not under 23. And yeah, you just commit to the plan and race as you raced last few years, but now you just cannot say that you first under 23.
So it's almost the same for you because you just all start together. You are competing with the same guy. It's just that before.
It's gravel is a must start racing. So you live or die. Either you're 18 or either you're 40 years old with a full mountain bike background and or yellow jersey. At the tour, you have to survive and you have to be there. So yeah, no difference, I feel.
Last question within this little intro. You are living the privateer life right now. So how do you manage it? You can briefly mention how you built your season, regarding your partners you have, and also how you organize yourself. Because I know that within the gravel pro edit scene, there are a lot of privateers still compared to the road or even the MTB scene. So that's really something which is evolving and will still evolve for the next years with the new rules integrated by the UCI and so on. But for now, yeah, how do you manage it? And what is your setup?
It's really exciting because you finally meet the people behind the brands. So you really feel having a special treatment with the brand themselves, like meeting the brand manager, all these people that are really, really into the brands and not just like, okay, I'm racing for this team and this team is sponsored by this brand, so I'm riding this brand. So I feel you way more into the brand, way more into activation. And yeah, being a privateer, I always say to people like, we are a lot of very, very good athletes racing gravel, and every races there is people coming from nowhere that are like really, really strong athletes. But being a privateer, it's way more than just pushing hard on your pedals. You need to be like good for the brand that you sponsor by for content. You need to be good for any activation that are around races. You need to also be good on the bike and also train well. So it's like a whole global package that you need to take care of. So it's a bit like managing your own company with like marketing, performance, and budget. Budget wise, so that's my first year as I'm managing my budget and everything. I taking things very chill. Like I just try every month to book as many races I can like in advance. So that's like 4 or 5 months ahead. Yeah, not be too stressed about it because I still don't have like a crazy calendar. So it's very easy to plan, and I have like few races that are like expensive in my budget. So it's already planned. So for the moment, everything goes well.
So now let's go deeper into the race debrief and the three races you've just done in Spain, in an area you really know well, maybe except the last one, which was not in the Girona area, but we will talk about this. And yeah, let's start with the first race that you had on your calendar, Bescanonina, which was really close to Girona. So you were racing at home, and it's really early into the calendar. So how did it go for you?
First race of the season, it's always very interesting. It used to be, I think 3 years ago, it used to be Santa Vall, the first race. And last year, this race came out the week before Santa Vall. And everyone understood, like, okay, actually, Santa Val now it's a real meetup of legend of cycling. So you want to have some legs already a bit open the week before. So people were complaining, like, ah, Santa Val, it's very early in the season. But now that we have a race the week before, people are like, wow, that's perfect. And I'm sure that if a race decide to do it like 1st of February, people are going to be like, wow, 1 month racing block, it's so good in February, you know? So yeah, first race, and last year I finished 7. And as I said earlier, like every year you discover the gravel scene again. So this year I finished like, yeah, 18, I think, or something
Yeah,
like this,
E18.
which is like if you look at it, you just like lose, yeah, almost 100% of your position. So from 7 you're 18, so you're like, okay, that's not a really good result. But then you check the start list and you're like, okay, the start list took like 5,000 watts, you know. So you have to deal with it, and you can also not invent you like being a world tour pro. So like if world tour people show up, then you have to deal with it. So for my legs and shape, it was really interesting because yeah, as everyone, the first race of the season, you're a bit lost in numbers. You don't really know what can you hold, which numbers are really familiar to you, except what you did in training. So I must say that everything went pretty smooth. It was very muddy conditions, but yeah, material wise, I had interesting setup because I had like a slick kind of tire in the back from Panaracer, and the front one that was a bit more straight, and it went super well, to be honest. I was, yeah, like if I could have changed something, it's maybe the pressure. I was a bit too much pump. But I feel this is normal. Beginning of the season, you like it's kind of stuff you don't really check precisely, and then after the race, you're like, my back hurts a lot.
New material, new equipment, also new partners. So you need to discover it in a race setup, because when you are training, it's not the same. You are not pushing the same watts, and you are not engaging the same way with the equipment on the bike. So yeah, we have a section right after the race debrief when we will talk about a bit more in details the equipment you are using, tire pressure, and the kind of things that yeah, gravel followers really like to hear about. But yeah, that was a good opener of the season for you. And you have also told me earlier that you misled on the race. Also, you took a wrong turn and you ended up in a river. And
That's the that's the spirit of the first races. For example, Bescanonina, I was like, yeah, that's a legs opener, half training, half races. So you don't do the full recon, and these kind of details, then you lose like 10 minutes, you know. So
yeah,
it's a
no.
bit like, yeah, okay, that's a fair result for what I did for this race. And that's like a home race. It doesn't engage so many costs. So yeah, legs opener.
Now let's going on to the big one. So Santaval, and yeah, as you have mentioned, this year the starting list was repacked, and yeah, I followed the gravel elite races since few years, and it was the most packed list ever seen for this race, I think so, with more than 200 pro men from the start, almost 70 pro women, I think, and also with the guys coming from the US to race this first big race of the GES calendar gravel series. We've seen the specialized off-road team with Keegan, Matt coming from the US, do training camp with Sofia also on the women's side, and a lot of contenders for the overall titles. Were you surprised about this or not really?
I'm not surprised of how it grow because I've been there. My first Santa Vall, I finished 30, and that was my first ever gravel race. I finished 30, then 40, and then this year 80 something. So I'm not surprised of how it grew. I'm not like we were at 200 pro, but you have to understand that, like, or people that listen us, you have to understand that being a gravel pro doesn't mean you have a license where it's wrote gravel pro. If you want to race in pro, you just have to say like, I want to race in pro. If you want to race in open, you just have to say, I want to race in open. You can race in pro on Monday and race in open on Friday, like no problem. So every year you're like, okay, yeah, we are 100 pro, but maybe 40 of them are really good, you know. Where this year, I think on the 200 pros, you're like, okay, 150, 160 are like really into training and really into being a very, very good cyclist, you know. So in that way, gravel is evolving. And then, of course, we have the factory team building up. So Specialized Canyon, which are super, super cool projects. I'm sure we're gonna see more and more team strategy, but I must say for the moment, this project doesn't affect me. I'm still not part of the 15 big boys that are like playing strategic the overall classification to be like, okay, today Specialized gonna defend, so if I attack, they're gonna catch me, you know. So for the moment, for my performance and my season, I'm not really concerned about that, but I'm sure that for the big guys, it's more and more complicated because when you have one guy from Specialized, it's fine, but when you have three, the three of them are like already have a very, very, very good cycling background. It's another topic.
Luckily, for now, for all the privateers like you, also they can try to do tactics, but it's really more complicated than on the roads because you have so many things that you need to take into account on the gravel. The terrain is really different, really more challenging, and the races are not really as strategic as on the road when you can control easily. Here you have so many variables and factors that you need to take into account, and you can't really do what you want when you want. So
Yeah, it's really like I always say to people like that come from the road, a gravel race is a day in a breakaway. So you have basically, so we checked with many riders at the Santa Val what was the speed of everyone. And so we figured it out that the biggest difference it's in the first 40 minutes of the race. And from 40 minutes to the end of the race, everyone have almost the same average speed. So it means that you have to be very, 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 very good on your capability on the first 40 minutes to jump with the right group. And then once you made it to your group, you need to stay there because if you lose your group, it doesn't mean that the group behind you're gonna stay there because they go the same speed. So yeah, like if you blew up, you can lose like 100 position, like Santaval. If you blew up, you lose. Like I know, like super super good guys that won Cap Epic, they lose like 40 position in 5 minutes. You know, it goes very fast.
okay, so you need to be really strategic in the beginning of the race to find the group with the good rhythm, and after, let's say, hold on.
Yeah, it's like chasing or being chased. You're chasing knowing that you're being chased, and if you blew up, then you lose so many, so many, so many positions. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Santa Valley is a kind of a different setup regarding the race because you have two stages, which is not really common in most of the, at least the GES, the Gravel Series races, or even the UCI or the Lifetime GP. What's the critical moment on those two races, those two stages? In the race one, it was really muddy from what I've seen on the live coverage because you had a lot of rain the day before.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it was critical, and if you think like if I like I always feel when I'm racing, I don't really remember what happened because I'm just like so into the race that even when I like avoid huge crashes or I just pass from a huge accident, I'm just like, yeah, this happened, but I actually don't really remember what happened because I was just like, yeah, I save it, but this is the game of gravel. You need to, it's like a mountain bike without suspension and without big tires. So you have just to looking every time for the limit of the bike, right? And yeah, this year I think what everyone remember it's like the big mud sections, which were like really cyclocross. But I think the biggest mud section was probably like 800 or 900 meters of like pure like 30-40 centimeter mud. And here I feel the race was already really on for a moment. Yeah, like everyone tried to ride as good as they could skills wise. Yeah, like a guy were passing you at the beginning of the section and you were passing him at the end because he crashed and you didn't, or stuff like this. Very random. But I also felt and I also saw that the guys that make it to the front just before this section, I never saw them again during the day. So I also crash in the first day, so I also lose like probably 1 or 2 minutes. But yeah, I think this was a very key moment of the race. And then we had a river to cross, but it's really fun because all the videos of Santa Val talk about this river. And actually, like I think the front group didn't saw it, but on the left of this river there were like a single track that Class Mark built for the race. And so like when I saw the river in the evening, the video, I was like, I don't remember to go that deep. And I was like, yeah, I just took the single track on the left. So yeah, this is kind of stuff people don't show. And also, yeah, there is this main climb always that goes up El Sangel. And yeah, big difference from last year. There were like a lot of cheering there. So super good, yeah, super good feeling. And when it's like I think everyone already experienced that if you're racing, but the last 200 meters of a climb when it's like 18% and there is 200 people, there is like 200 watts for free, like just because it's fucking sick to be there. So yeah, the mud section. And then, yeah, we live in Girona. So for us, it's really easy, but there is a really technical and sketchy downhill just after that. Where basically, like me, for example, I drop my group and I catch the group ahead in this downhill. So I was like, okay, that's really good.
because you know it, you've practiced it in training.
Yeah, I know it, but I never really push it in training because I feel like if I crash in racing, it's part of the game, but in training, I hate going too hard. And yeah, like we are lucky to have some application where you can check your performance on segments, and yeah, I just like smashed them all. So that I was happy. It was good tires choice.
So the second race, the second day was a bit less muddy, I think.
Yeah, less muddy, way more punchy in the beginning. It's an 8-minute climb with a really steep moment, so you lose a bit grip sometimes. So these kind of days, you really need like a super good warm up. And for example, like here, I could feel like the difference between a team and us. It's like if you're privateer, if you're lucky, you have someone that helps you with maybe like a roller. But the team, they have like roller people to get their stuff, bottles. Like it's so much stress that you put off from your morning race. So that could have been better. Me, I had a lot of issues on the first climb because I think I was just like too cold. But yeah, and then not too muddy, very fast. There is always a big flat section just after, which like it's really all out there to survive. But the problem is like after this flat section, there is a climb also again of like 4 or 5%. So it doesn't seems that big on the GPX, but if you did the recon, you understand that if you push too hard on the flat, you explode on this climb and you lose your group. And then, as I said, like everyone catch you and you just like you went way over what you could, so your engine is like over before the beginning of the race. So yeah, very hilly day, some mud section, but nothing crazy, nothing as the first day, and super fast. I think yeah, 33 k's an hour.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Yeah, with the mud. Yeah, with the mud. Yeah, I think last year they won at 33 k's an hour, if I don't say mistake. But without mud, last year was really dry, really, 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 really fast gravel. So yeah, every year the races are taking like 2 k's an hour or something like this. It's pretty crazy.
Last year, so you finished 46, and this year you've said to me that you rode faster and you were happy with your power output and how you managed the race. And overall, you finished 88. So how do you explain this? Is it only the pack starting list, or is it the dynamics of the race which are also different?
Yeah, I think, well, the if I'm really honest, I think on a perfect day I could have finished, I think probably top 60 without the crash on the first day and with a really good warm up on the second day. Because yeah, this is the two moment I can see now that I lose a lot. And it just like, I mean, now it's a World Tour Pro peloton. So if you push 340 up a climb, everyone drops you by 2 minutes, you know. And even me, I was pushing on the second day. I was seeing like 340. I was like, what the fuck is happening to my legs? Because it's an 8 minute climb. So you need to almost do your personal best on 8 minutes there. So it's for me, I'm 70 kilos. So it has to be close from 6.5, 6.7 watt kilo to pass with the first 40, I think. And I was very far from that this day, so I missed a bit. Yeah, and then man, so many people are coming to gravel every year. So, like you can be better from the year before and doing a lot of things better. But at the end, there is something I learned in cycling. It's like you will always find people stronger than you. So stay focused on what you know, where you were last year, where you are this year, what you can do better, and just on your, capability. And then you try to do your own way with everything. I think it's the most important in gravel because results doesn't mean anything right now because maybe next year it will be even worse. And then like your level go up, but the level of the field go like twice up what you gain in winter. Like I had the perfect winter. I'm also working part-time. So right now I'm very honest with me and I'm like, okay, for the moment you did everything perfect this winter. You cannot be better right now in cycling.
If you can share maybe one number which could illustrate what you are saying, could be whatever your max power, the average speed, which allow us to really see what the level is right now on a race at Santa Vall, because I know you are tracking your numbers.
So Santa Val, power-wise, it was a great race, but we were expecting a bit more with my coach. But I feel the most important for me this year is to understand how high needs to be the fueling in gravel. Because last year, for example, I was racing at 110 carbs an hour. And after 3 hours or 2 hours and a half, my body were like, closing door, ciao, see you the next day. So after 2 hours, you lose your group. You've been you like people catch you. You drop from 25 place and you end up the race like absolutely empty, back pain, everything. This year, I switched brand nutrition, but I also understood that I had to eat a bit more on the bike. And now I'm around 130, 135 grams of carbs per hour. And so this is very personal, but this suits me like way more. So it means that now, first, my earth rate is very high, but through all the races, all the events that I did in sport in my life, it's always very high. So like for Santaval, the average of the two stage, I think it's like 6 hour and a half total, and it's at like average 170 BPM. And yeah, I think, well, let me check precisely. Yeah, 170 average for like the 2 days. And then in terms of power, like, yeah, normalized 300 and 320 on the second day. So I'm 70 kilos. So yeah.
Would you say that going over 120 grams per hour of carbs within the gravel peloton is something you see? Because I know that on the road they are getting there. They are getting above 100. The top teams they are studying it, but on the cycling is not at the level of triathletes, for example, which are taking crazy numbers of carbs to exceed the consumption and to be able by the end of the race to still deliver great performances. So yeah, how do you see it evolving right now?
I feel it's gonna be a bit weird metaphor I'm gonna say, but I feel like road racing, you need to be an absolute racing machine and being able to push 80 watts at some point, and 10 minutes later you need to do 10 minutes at 450 watts, or even more. Like I know guys in Girona and I know their numbers. It's insane. like, like we talk about like unrealistic numbers. Where like so yeah, they need to take 120 grams of carbs, but for 1 hour, if you're in the peloton and you push 80 watts, if you take 100 grams, man, your stomach is gonna go crazy. Like you don't need that much sugar. Even for the engine, like at 80 watts, they are like not even 100 earth rate. Or in gravel, like all day, your engine is like full on, and every kicker, it's like absolute threshold. And I think Romain Bardet put a screenshot of his performance of yesterday in Castellón, and he have like 1 hour 10 in zone 4.
Yeah, no rest.
This in road racing almost doesn't happen. If you have, well, yeah, if you have a climb of 1 hour at the end of the race, this happens. But this never happens. And I think like it's even crazy because I was checking mine, and you have like 1 hour zone 4, 30, like I have me, for example, I have more time in zone 4 yesterday in Castellón than time in zone 1. Like your engine is just like burning full gas for 4 hours. So you just need to like, you take it, it burn. You take it, it burn. Like yesterday at Castellón, after 15 minutes after I took a gel, I was like, "Pwah." Now I'm just looking for one thing. It's like in 5 minutes when I can take like another gel of 40 grams.
You have no rest period within the peloton, or you can shake up the legs and
No, no, no. It's like full gas. Like if you stop pedaling, your bike stop in 10 meters. There is a insane rolling resistance. So like if you stop pushing, there is a bit of drafting, but if there is 2%, the drafting doesn't exist. And yeah, you just need to be like all day on the pedals. So it's just about like who's gonna blow up at the end. Chase or being chased.
you talk about it briefly, so let's go on Castellon. It happened yesterday, so refreshing your mind. So yeah, how does the race when compared to Santa Val? Is the vibe different? You tell me you were happy with the way you raced, and so how do you feel about your performance?
Super good organization, super good place to organize a race. So like the start was in Lucena, precisely. Um, yeah, 97 kilometer, 2,700 meters of elevation, precisely. So that's a lot. And a good pro pack, but nothing crazy, just like the normal people that race gravel, I must say. So we still had like Mats Schmidt, European champion, Romain Bardet, Alejandro Valverde, and all the very strong guy that around UCI and gravel. So normal for that. And the race was actually a bit scary because the first 15 kilometers were downhill. So when you launch 100 guys downhill for a UCI race, and after this downhill, there is it was a 25-minute climb. This is the war. So yeah, that part was a bit sketchy, but I think it's something we see more and more in gravel. Everyone gets so pro and so skilled also. Like I always take this example with friend, like 3 years ago when we were racing gravel, on a group of 15, 7 will finish the race. Like when you were in a group of 15, you were like, perfect, because 7 gonna have an issue. I'm doing a top 10 today. This year, man, Santaval, I saw one person by the side of the road. Pescadonina, same. And Castellón, no one, I think.
Okay, which is a good thing, but you also need to work on the positioning now.
Yeah, yeah. Now positioning, it's super important. Positioning were important, but yeah, it's always on a race like yesterday. You need to be really careful on where you're gonna put a lot of power. So either you lose 10 spots on the flat or like in the downhill, and then you catch back in the climb, or you spend your energy on the flat and you're well positioning on the climb. So as I said earlier, like if you're fighting for top 10, this is important. But me, I was more like, okay, it's a 3.5 hour race. You really need to pace it well. And if you pace it well, I think on the last hour, you're gonna catch like so many people that just blew up. And look, I start super slow the first climb, 340 watts, 350. And I was just like every 5, 6 minutes when your legs start taking the race rhythm, you can just add like 10 watt, 10 watt, 10 watt, 10 watt. So you ended up at like 400. And by the end of the climb, we already catch like 20 guys, I think. That just like completely blew up from the rhythm in the front. Because the rhythm in the front, you have like it's Romain Bardet, Mats Schmidt.
Top Guns.
If you want to climb with them, you can, but be careful. The screenshot Romain put yesterday in his story, like I think his zone 2 finished at 350 watt, and I'm sure he's not close from his shape of Tour de France winning stages.
And he's not a big guy, so the weight per kilo.
It's already crazy.
I think you finished P42.
Yeah.
Happy with the how you, let's say, you pace your race and you manage to catch people at the end. So overall, those three races and this season opener, how are you feeling about?
Yeah, I'm very happy also, even more from yesterday, because we had plan in mind with my coach and ideas of power, and now it's a reality. And we also finally figured it out how to hold a gravel pace for 4 hours. And I think this gave us a lot of serenity over time, just to know like, okay, that's actually our base work. And now I have like a big months of training. And I'm a bit like, okay, now that you solve this problem, you're really ready for what's coming next. Because we have the hills coming end of March. And that I think the most punchy race of the gravel calendar, where you need to be able to push like, yeah, 500 watts for 2 minutes during 4 hours. So yeah, to be honest, a lot of tranquility after these three races. Nothing crazy, but everything confirmed, nothing broken, no issues with my body. So yeah, ready for what's next.
Maybe we can talk about the tech and the bikes. That's a subject I know which is really interesting for a lot of people following gravel. So yeah, you raced three different courses and three different races. Did you add different setups regarding the races, or have you raced with the same bike, the same tire, the same pressure on the Pescanolina, Santa Vall, and Castellón?
From this year, a big upgrade I did, and I was afraid to do it for years now. I switched road to mountain bike pedals because, of course, Bescano and Santa Val were really muddy. And I really fast understood that with road cleats, it will be a nightmare. I must say, like, I'm not sponsored by this brand. I bought them full price, but Shimano came with like super good gravel shoes with like a cleat that make it way more stable. And this has been like a game changer on my bike because now you really have the stability of a road cleat, but with SPD cleats. So this is like just tranquility of mind. First big upgrade. And then, yeah, I'm racing the Factor Aluto. So if people knows, it's like an all-road gravel bike. For me, it's perfect because it's really comfortable. And I make it a bit stiffer with a road handlebar from Black Ink. And I raised the 4.5 on it a lot because I love the style. You lose a bit of skills putting these rims, but it just, yeah, it's super epic, the bike. And yeah, tire choice, I rode 45 at Bescanonina. And then with the mud, I raced 50 in the front and 45 in the back. Because It gives tranquility. The bench is more packed, so you don't really see where you put the tires at the Santa Vall sometimes. So yeah, you avoid a bit of issues with this, and then you can also go way faster than everyone in the downhill. So actually, it helped me a lot because I catch groups like 2 or 3 times during the race in the downhill after being dropped or after having issues with the mud on my bike or whatever. So that helped me a lot. Yeah, so there were super good tire for Santaval, and I had a bit less confidence in Castellón because it was a really, really, really dry terrain. And everyone struggled a lot with the curves and everything because I think it's been so much rainy in Europe in winter that no one is used to this kind of terrain anymore. And here it was just like you were doing half of the curve and you were still going straight, like to break the bike.
Slippery.
Yeah, super, super slippery, super dangerous, and every like dead end curve where like you fall over the cliff. So yeah, very sketchy, and yeah, I have to work a bit on dry tires performance because it was a bit hard. So it was almost the same setup because it's like 1 week between each races. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just clean the bike really well, and I don't really have time to try something new. And yeah, 44 in the front, 1046 in the back, SRAM red, 1.5 bar in the front, 1.8 in the back, and yeah, ready to roll.
No puncture.
Zero puncture. Man, it's been 2 years I haven't punctured in gravel.
Great. You're lucky.
It's not like it's skills, I always say.
That's what Van der Poel says.
Yeah, exactly. He ride 28 at Paris-Roubaix, so I think from that, everything is fine.
Okay, so almost the same setup, just adjusting the tire weight. And just a question about Santaval. Did you change your mind the day before? Because I know he trained a lot the whole day before the first stage. And I've seen or heard some of the top riders were asking themselves if they needed to change the setup or not because they did the recon the day before, so the terrain evolved a bit with the rain. But you, as a local, I'm pretty sure you know perfectly how the mud creates itself with the rain and how the terrain can
So
evolve.
I
So
must say, this mud in Girona, in 3 years, I never ever saw Girona like this. I was supposed to race Santaval because I know almost every section there, 40 in the back and 45 in the front. And the night before, I changed for 45 in the back and 50 in the front. Because, yeah, when I saw my bike, I was like, and it was raining so much on Friday, I was like, and this is not possible. Which was kind of a bet because I don't have much tire clearance on my bike. So 45 in the back, it's like 1 millimeter. So now my bike is basically carbon raw at some places since Santaval. But yeah. The night before I changed I must say I'm really not a big fan of 50 in the front because I think it's way slower than many tires. But for this block of races, I think it helped me a lot to found again the like gravel feelings in racing. Because I think racing gravel and training gravel, it's not the same sport. Like we risk so much in racing. Like sometimes I'm take curve, I'm like, if you crash, it's like a stupid crash, like, and you're not focused also. Like in racing, you just like focus mindset. So you can save way more than training. You just like crash.
you less focus and you can sleep and ended up on the ground a lot faster. And that's why also I think gravel racer used to race a lot because you can really develop this feeling and grab your abilities because you are focused in race mode and on the terrain and how to corner, how to get traction everywhere.
Yeah, like you have to think a good downhill, you can catch 1 minute on a 10-minute downhill or 5 minute downhill if you're really, really, really good. 1 minute up a climb, it's a lot of training, like a lot of power. So skills are so important in hilly races.
What's next for you? You talk about the hills, which is the next gravel series stop in Italy.
Yeah, so we have the hills, and the week before I will probably do like a Catalan Cup, I think here. Are very good, cheap races, and to just bring back the legs, it's perfect. the hills, and then I think we have gravel deserts 1 week after, or 1 week and a half after. And then I fly the Tuesday after to Seattle, USA. And this I'm really, 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 really excited for.
You have a yeah, a big block of races, and especially until Unbound, because you're going to Unbound. You have so you have two travels to the US with the hills before and track at 360 in between. Tough, tough period with a lot of race.
Yeah, it's kind of a bet because I had a long meeting with my coach and we were like, man, now we need to race as much as possible and see where your engines stop because we actually never experienced it. Past few years, I didn't had enough budget to do many as races. And this year I can do it. So we were just like, man, we sign up for everything possible. And if the week before we over, then we don't do it. It's fine, you know. But just like taking in mind that we need to do much and look like, to be honest, I think it's the first time ever I do 3 weeks in a row races with 2 days at Santa Val, so almost four. And man, Castellón was so good. Like half of the race on the main climb, I start the climb. I was like, "Phew, I feel good. I'm gonna stay like this for the next 30 minutes." It was like 380 watt. After 10 minutes, I turned back. No one in my wheels. Everyone blew up. And then I was like, okay, man, this is the good feeling when you races, you know, when people blew up from your wheel, you're like, okay, and now you're chasing. Now it's exciting. And then you see people far and you're like, okay, one more, one more, one more. It's like Mario, you know, when you jump together.
The struggle will be the travel for you maybe, and different time zone managing this, and twice within a month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 6 weeks, so it's very, very close by. I think the hardest, I must say, gonna be Tracker 360 because expectations are high for everyone. So you want to push yourself a bit more in the first 4 or 5 hours to stay in the front group. And this is 14 days after I come back from Seattle. This is gonna be madness.
But you will not be alone to do this schedule, because I know a lot of pro will do the same, because yeah, Sea Otter is the opening round of the lifetime GP, so all the top
Super
contenders will be
important.
there. And also all the industry is there, so it's important for partners and so on. So it will be packed also, and track at 360 for sure.
Yeah.
It's the most renowned European race right now, and you're lining up on a 360, not the 200. So for you, it's also a challenge. But you've done it last year, so you know
Yeah,
pretty well.
I fucking love it.
Yeah,
Like it switched something in my mind like, man,
yeah.
this is so hard that if you do it well, it's gonna be insane.
What's the objective in terms of positioning? It's a bit complicated because yeah, you don't know who will race, and as we talked earlier, it's a gravel profile evolving so fast that it's complicated now to say, okay, I want to finish in the top 50, top 60, top whatever. But maybe in terms of the time, as you know the course, you've done it last year.
So the race have 30 kilometers less and 1,000 meter of elevation more. So I don't really know for the moment what that means in terms of timing, which is a bit bad because you cannot really compare from the past few years. But yeah, I announced to people in cycling industry in 2028 I want to win Track After 60. So it's just part of the long plan, you know. You have to race it to win it.
Open throttle the whole race.
It will be around 12 hours, I think, of racing. Last year I did 12:40, I think. And I finished 46. I don't remember, something like this. But I lose like I didn't have direct feed zone, so I lose probably 5 minutes. So that cost in Treka 360, like just this cost you 10 spot, I think, at my place. So yeah, I'm maybe too confident, but I'm really confident for Treka 360 because I really know the course. I know where it's hard, and I know when you need to be full gas.
And if you have the energy, you will have good legs, because obviously you will have done a lot of races at the beginning of the season.
Seattle is also not too long and not yeah, it's gonna be hard, I think, because the pace and it will be my first US experience, so might be different racing, I guess. And I think the hardest one will be probably Unbound. Because Unbound, it's like it will be the last one of the block. You want to finish it, but it's a very hard race if it goes bad. Man, it's still in 2 months. We will see. But we're doing gravel for that, so that's exciting. We are lucky to go there, so that's what.
You will experience it, and I think that that's a great thing also to see how it's going on those big races with all the fame that they gain now, and all the people traveling there, and this really different terrain also from the Girona one and the European, which is really rocky, and yeah, you will experience it, and for the first time. Usually, when I talk to riders who did it for the first time, they're really happy, even if there are some issue mechanical or the
Yeah, but this is part of gravel.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, last question in the podcast. What is the first thing or the your main objective that you think you need to improve before this big block of races, traveling to the US with the lifetime Grand Prix and the Truck at 360? What's your main objective? What you want to progress on?
That's a really good question because I feel you cannot really rush cycling training. And if you rush it, it goes bad. You simply have to trust the process and try to see where cycling brings you. March will be my first ever altitude camp. So that's very exciting, but it's also slightly stressful because you need to be really sure you do it well. Because if you do it bad, you can really pay the price. So I hope that this camp give me this like, yeah, 15, 20 watts on the first 30, 40 minutes of a race, just to be a bit more chill in the front. Yeah, I really hope to have a really good March months of training. And yeah, that's the main objective, being able to be a bit stronger on the first hour. And being stronger, it's a bit being a bit more chill while pushing 400 watts.
Yeah, don't scratch too many matches at the beginning of the
Yeah,
race to
exactly.
pay it by
Exactly.
the end. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the goal, but it's also like, it's a long game. Cycling, you cannot become Pogacar in 3 years. I started like training properly in what, 5 years ago now, 4 years ago. So yeah, you have to accept, and of course, people are stronger, people are weaker, and yeah, I always said like also realize where you are, which sponsor you have. You're probably the dream of someone, so just like stay focused and do what you have to do.
I'm wishing you best luck for it. No puncture, no mechanicals, and to be able to push from the start of the race. And we'll follow you. And you have been mentioned by the Lifetime Grand Prix as a an emerging contender within the series. So that's good. That's mean you're training and everything you are doing starts to pay. Keep pushing because you are part of this young generation, starting with almost starting with gravel and not coming from the road by the end of their career. So yeah, that's cool to see young guys like you, young generation, bringing something new to the gravel scene and also to the race dynamics. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's keep pushing.
wild goal, wild dreams, and yeah, keep pushing. Thank you very much for the time. That was super nice to talk about it, and see you in racing.
Yeah, and how people can follow you? So you're active on Strava, Instagram.
Yeah, Strava, Gustave Orain, Instagram, Gustave Orain, and
Yeah.
I'm working on a YouTube channel, so it's coming.
And on Strava, you need to work on the pro
Yeah.
account.
Yeah, I don't know how this works. I think they decide, not me.
Yeah, yeah, you need to request. I think so, but yeah, it was a joke. Okay, fine. Thanks for your time,
Yeah,
and let's see if people like this kind of discussion. And yeah, we'll see how it evolves, and we'll talk later on about other races. And I can't wait about the debrief of the big block with Sea Otter, Traken, and Bond.
me too, me too. Very excited.
Thanks, Gustav.
Thanks, Fontana. Ciao.
Bye.